Hello, all you happy people. Today, this guy asked me a bunch of questions. I'm going to blur his name out so that way no one goes after him because I don't agree with doing that kind of thing. I try not to do that. I try not to cuss, and I don't go after grammatical errors. Um, I would like to have the same done for me when it comes to how my enemies treat me. But anyway, he said, "Are you a young Earth creationist?" Yes, I am. I believe that God made the earth around 7,000 years ago. I believe that there was a flood 4,400 years ago, and Jesus is going to come back anytime now. And it's like, what are your thoughts on the heat problem? Mud problem, I don't know about the mud problem. I've never heard that, but the heat problem I know about. It's talking about, I'm assuming, the heat dissipation of if it rained enough to flood the whole earth, it would be it would be so terrible because it would burn everything to pieces. And it's like, well, if you look in the Bible, Genesis 7, verse 11, that's near the beginning of the book for those who don't read the Bible. It says, "In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, in the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened." It says, all the fountains of the great deep broken up. What is that? Well, it's like my personal opinion is that God put a sprinkler system in before he made the earth and everything, made it where we could grow plants and grow food pretty good. In the south of America, we have where you can just dig and get well water about anywhere. The quality of well water changes from place to place. Some people don't have good well water, and it's sad. You can drink it and get a mouthful of iron. But in some places, though, you get good well water. And I think there's probably like that all over the place. And then all that busted open, all the pipes busted. And that's what caused the majority of the flooding, because it rained for 40 days, but Noah stayed in the ark for a long time. So it's just like that's what caused the majority of the flooding. So I don't agree with the heat dissipation problem. The mud problem, if you're talking about like it burying everything, I think that kind of stuff explains why we have fossils everywhere, because everything died in water and got buried rapidly in mud. We find spines of sauropods all twisted up, mangled up. We find that fossilized ichthyosaur where it mashed the baby out of it, from all the pressure, the weight of all that rock building up on top of it. There's just fossilized clams in a close position showing that they were buried rapidly. There's a bunch of that stuff, and editing Tyler's gonna hate me for this, for making him put all that up on the screen, but yeah, there's tons of evidence for that. And I was just like, do you believe a man-made boat so big that he could put it on two member of all of the millions of animal species on Earth, freshwater fish and plants? It's like, I'm going to answer this, and the rest of this. One big thing, which is no. Fish have plenty of water to breathe outside. Many of them did die in the flood, but not all of them, because we still have fish. And it says 2 of every kind. He brought 7 of some of the clean animals. If you read Genesis 7, 2 through 4, editing Tyler put that up on screen. And yeah, so it's like, and it's every kind and every sort is what it says in Genesis 6:20. It's after their kind. Not every species. It probably bought one kind of dog or some kind of wolf, and it made the rest of them. That's why I think a lot of animals are becoming worse and worse, because that was a genetic bottleneck in the original design. People too. But yeah, everything on Earth that breathed is what, like, the animals that breathed and lived on dry land are the ones that need to be in the ark. The whales are fine outside. I'll try to find that joke and see if I put it in here. See if editing Tyler puts it in or not. Genesis 7:21 through 23 says, "And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beasts and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died." See, things that breathe. And I'm going to continue for a second. "And every living substance was destroyed upon try again. And every living substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle and creeping things, and the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark." And it's like everything died, but it says specifically in verse 22, it says, "All in whose nostrils was the breath of life." So that would mean no bugs would have to be on the ark. because they breathe through the skin. And all that was on dry land died. So I wonder if crocodiles count if they had to be on the ark. That's another thing. That could be debated in the comments. But yeah, and it's like, if it's freshwater, saltwater would be bad. I think it was all freshwater because God made the earth to be inhabited, and saltwater is kind of more thing that happened after the flood when the oceans filled in. Because all the water from the flood, people are like, where did it go? That's what the oceans are. It filled in the low places, and the high places are what's left. If you want to look into a cool looking story about that, look up this thing called Doggerland. Anyway, that's a tangent. Try not to get into those. But it's like, fish can transfer between saltwater and freshwater. There's bull sharks found far up rivers. So yeah, swim well. But yeah, like, and I think the original kind probably was hardier than what we got today. If you look at that, like the Neanderthal could beat up any person alive today, or the woolly rhinoceros and all sorts of stuff. Like, animals were built tougher in the original design. But it didn't matter how well they were made, the people still turned themselves against God. Because all this happened because they turned their back on God. And he's like, there's only one person who were kind to him. It says, in Genesis 7:1, it says, and the Lord said unto Noah, come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. And later on, it says in verse 16 of chapter 7 of Genesis, and they that went in, male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. It's like, the Lord saved him. Everything was going to pieces, and it saved him. And it's like, that's like a precursor to how the end of days is going to be. Will you stand with God or with man? Like, there are some cool things around, but I'd rather be part of God's kingdom and on his side. And if you look for the rest of the story, it shows that God continually uses broken men. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. It means that you have to, care about what God says. And I hope you do too. If you have any more questions, please feel free to respond. I will blank out this guy's name and symbol so nobody goes after him. If anyone has questions, even if they're more hostile towards me, I'll try to answer them. And I hope I was nice about it. Because I would like to have the same courtesy done to me. Yeah, that's all I got to say about this. Hope you have a nice day. God bless you all, and goodbye.